allocation for P naught is 0, 1, 0, and allocation for P1 200, for P2 303, for P3 211, and for P4 0. So, and request for P naught is 0, and the P1 is 202, and P2 is 0, and P3 is 100, and P4 is 2. Okay, so the available which is given here, that is 0. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, so first what we have to do, so the first step we have to initialize the work is equals to available. Work it is equals to available. Okay, so what is the available value here? It is given, so that is work is equals to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this is the value it is given. Okay, so initially, so all the process still it is not completed its task, so it is waiting for the resources. Okay, so all that finish of I is equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to so on. Take 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so initially all the process it is in the false state. Okay, so first what we have to do, so the first step, let me take the P naught. So we have to check the request is less than or equal to work. Okay, so the request for P naught is 0, it is less than or equal to work. So the work is given, that is equals to available, so that is 0, right? So here the condition is true. Okay, so if that particular condition is true, then we have to calculate the work is equals to work plus allocation. So the work is 0 plus allocation for the P naught. Okay, so what is the allocation for the P naught? That is 0, 1, 0. Okay, so now the value is 0, 1, 0. Okay, so now the finish of I, that is finish of I is equals to true. So what is I here? That is the P naught value, it is I. Finish of 0 is equals to true. Okay, so now it become a true. So now it is completed its task, so it is going to move on to the hard disk. So next apply the same algorithm for the another process P1. So let me take the request is less than or equal to work. Okay, so what is the request for the P1?
202.
Yes, 202, less than or equal to work. So what is the work here?
010.
Yes, 0, 1, 0. Is the condition is true or false? Yes, is it?
False.
Yes, the condition is false. So 200 is less than or equal to 10. So the condition is false. So now the P1 must wait. Okay, so next we will move on to the next processor P2. Okay, request it is less than or equal to 1. So what is the request for P2? 0, less than or equal to work. So what is the work? 0, 1, 0. So now the condition is true. So if that condition is true, we have to calculate the work. Work is equals to work plus allocation. So the work is 0, 1, 0 plus what is the allocation for P2?
303.
303. Yes. What is the value of adding 303 plus 10? So now finish of I. So that I is here, I is equals to 2. So that finish of 2 is equals to true. Okay, so now again this false, it will become the true because that execution of that process P2 is completed. Okay, so next we will move on to the another process P3. Again apply the same algorithm. Request if it is less than or equal to work. So what is the request for P3?
100.
It's 100. So next work we have to take the previous work, that is 313. So is the condition is true?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now the condition is true. So now we have to calculate the work plus allocation. Okay, so the work is 303 plus what is the allocation for P3?
211.
211. So now by add this, we are going to get 524. Okay, so now finish off I. So what is the I value here?
3.
3. So finish of 3 is equals to 4. So now the false it is become a true. Okay, so now we need to add, here P1 is waiting, we need to add P2 into the hard disk, and again P3 is also completed its task. So now we have added the P3. Okay, now next we have to calculate for the P4. So request is less than or equal to work. So the request for P4 is 2, which is less than or equal to work is 524. Okay, so this value it is true here. So the we have to calculate the work 524 plus allocation. So the allocation for P4 is 002. Okay, 524 plus 2 is 526. So now P4 has completed its task. So it has finished its task. So finish of 4 is equals to true. So now that false it is become true. Okay, so now we'll move this particular process P4 into the hot disk. Okay, so next we have again we have to make into the loop back again. So we have to check here. So P0 is already completed. So next go to P1. So still P1 it is waiting in the system. So now we have to do for the P1. P1 request is less than or equal to work. So what is the request for P1?
202.
202. So next work we have to take the previous work, that is 526. So now the condition is to we have to calculate the work. So that is work is equals to work plus allocation. What is the allocation for P1?
200.
Allocation for P1 is 200. Okay. Allocation for P1 is 200. So what's the value you are going to get? 526 plus 200?
7.
726. So now you can move this P1 to this hard disk. Okay, so now the sequence it is like P0, P2, P3, P4 and P1. Okay, so this is how we are going to calculate this deadlock detection by using the deadlock detection algorithm. Detection algorithm usage. Okay, so what is this detection algorithm usage? Detection algorithm, it must be executed based on the following factors. Okay, so there will be some of the factors. So based on that factor we are going to apply the detection algorithm. Okay, so the frequency of occurrence of a deadlock. So if the deadlock is occurring in the frequent manner, so then only we have to apply this deadlock detection algorithm. Okay, so here we have done the deadlock detection algorithm. By using the deadlock detection algorithm we have calculated, right? So where in which situation we have to use this deadlock detection algorithm? So we have to use this detection algorithm so only if that deadlock is occurring in frequent manner, and if that number of process affected by the deadlock. So if the number of process, the most number of processes, for example if P1 to P10 are the process are there, so among them if most of them it is affected by the deadlock, so then we can go with the detection algorithm. So if deadlock it is going to occur in the frequently, then the detection algorithm should be used. So when at the what are the situations we are going to use this detection algorithm? So if the deadlock is occurring in the frequent manner, then we have to use the detection algorithm. And also if the maximum number of processes if it is affected by the deadlock, so then also we have to use that. So there will be one of the disadvantages in this case. So if deadlock it occurs only when some processes it make a request, it cannot be granted immediately. So if particular P1 is a process, it is requesting the resource R1. Okay, so that request it is not granted to the process P0 immediately. So what will happen? So obviously then the deadlock situation it is going to be happen. So what is the solution if that case, if it is not given the request, it is not accessed by the resource, it is not giving the resource immediately, then it is going to happen the deadlock. So one solution is, so you can go through this deadlock detection algorithm. So by using using this deadlock detection algorithm, so you can detect the deadlock. So and also the one more solution, so deadlock algorithm, it must be executed in a periodic interval. So for example, it is not possible to execute this detection algorithm so continuously, so it has to take some of the interval time. Okay, so once in an hour. So for example, so this particular algorithm, it has to be executed only once in an hour, so it is not able to execute this algorithm continuously, so it has its own interval period of time. So during that period of time we can going to execute the detection algorithm. Okay, so and also when the CPU utilization drops below the certain threshold, so the utilization of the CPU resources, so the utilization of CPU, so if it is going to be drop some of the down below, so then in that situation also you can going to use this particular detection algorithm. Okay, so this is about the deadlock detection. Okay, so the next topic, that is the last topic in this first chapter, that is a recovery from the deadlock. So that is recovery from deadlock. Okay, so the already deadlock has occurred here, so now how we are going to make the recovery from the deadlock. So here there will be two different approaches are there. First is the process termination. First one is process termination. So if the deadlock has been occurred, so then you have to terminate the process. Okay, so and the second approach is resource preemption. Resource, so by forcefully you have to remove the resource preemption. Okay, so this is the two different approaches. Okay, so what are the two different approaches we have used in the recovery from the deadlock? First is the process termination and second one is the resource preemption. Okay, so if already deadlock has been occurred, so then you have to terminate the process or you have to resource preemption. So forcefully you have to remove the resource which is allocated to the process. Okay, so first we will see that what is process termination. So in that process termination, again there will be two different sub techniques. So what is the first sub technique? Abort all the deadlock process. Abort or kill all the deadlock process. Kill all the deadlock process. So and second one, abort one process. Abort one process at a time. Abort only one process at a time until deadlock cycle eliminate. Until deadlock cycle is eliminate. Okay, so here these are the two different sub techniques. First one is kill all the deadlock process. Okay, so for example, let me take P0, P1 and P2. Okay, so three different processes are there. So let me take 10 process. Okay, so among that 10 process, so 3 has occurred the deadlock. Okay, so we have to now I have to kill the 3 different process. So it is already executed by utilizing the CPU resources. Okay, so it is executed 95% of the execution, it is already done by the P0, and some of 85% of the execution it is done by the P1. So and 80% of execution it is done by the P2. Okay, so among the 10 processes, so 3 are the different processes which is suffering from the deadlock. So in this first technique, kill all the deadlock process. Okay, so if how many processes are there from 1 to 10, so all which is affected by the deadlock, so we have to kill the deadlock. Okay, so once we have killed the deadlock, so then we can come out from the recovery from the deadlock. So but there will be one disadvantages in this technique. So what is the disadvantages? So if I am killing this P0, P1 and P2, so it is already completed its execution. So 95% of execution it is completed and P1 has completed completed the 85% of execution, and P2 has completed the 80% of execution. Okay, so these three, it is utilizing some of the resources. Okay, so it's utilizing the CPU time, it is CPU utilization, and as well as the memory, and as well as the input output operations. Okay, so by taking this all the resources, it is executed the task. Okay, so if I'm killing this particular process by it is applying the deadlock, it is affecting from the deadlock, so now I'm going to kill this process. So what is the disadvantages by killing this all the process, like three process? So it is executed the system, it is by taking the different resources. Okay, so the waste of the CPU time, and the memory will be wasted, and also the input output operations also be wasted. Okay, so that is a one disadvantage. And in the second, abort one process at a time until the deadlock cycle is eliminated. So here it is asking that abort only one process. Okay, so for example, P0, P1, P3, P4. Okay, so these are the processor. So in that up to P5, so in this up to P5, so P0 up to P3, so it is affected by the deadlock. Okay, so now I have to kill the one process. So first I have to kill the P0, then again I need to apply the algorithm, detection algorithm, that is the deadlock detection algorithm I need to apply here, deadlock detection algorithm. So if that particular process P1, so if it is still it is suffering from the deadlock, so then only you are going to kill the process. Okay, so now you have killed that P1, again you have to apply the deadlock detection algorithm once again, and again you have to check that so still that any deadlock it is occurring in the process or not. Okay, so in the second sub technique, so about only the one process at a time. So here in this we are going to eliminate all the process at a single time. So but in the second technique, it is not possible to kill all the process at the same time. So only first I have to kill the P0, then I need to apply the deadlock detection algorithm. So again still that P1 is also suffering from the deadlock, then only I'm going to remove or I'm going to kill the P1 process. Okay, so here we have seen the one disadvantage, like all the resources can be wasted, and again there will be one more disadvantage in this sub technique also. What is the disadvantage in this sub technique? So let me take 100 processes are there. Okay, so in a system there will be 100 different processes are there. Okay, so if 100 different process, so let applying from P1 to P100, so testing for P0, and again applying the deadlock detection algorithm, and again checking for the P1, and again applying the deadlock detection for the another process. So it will take the huge amount of time, and as well as the time it is required to taken to do the detection of this deadlock, whether it is occurred or not, it is to be huge. Okay, so that also it is one of the disadvantage that whatever we are going to face in the second technique. Okay, so this is about the process termination. So the next is the resource preemption. So in this resource preemption, so if that we have to going to remove the resource forcefully. Okay, so P0 is allocated to R1. So I'm going to remove the resource R1 because another process it is waiting. So I'm going to removing the R1 resource. Okay, so release the resource and allocate this to resource the any another process. So here I am P0 is already allocated to resource 1. Okay, so I'm forcefully removing this resource and I'm allocating this resource to any another processor. Okay, so during this type of execution, allocating this resource to the any other processor, so I'm going to face the three different issues. Okay, so what are the three different issues? First one is selecting a victim. Second approach, rollback, and third approach, starvation. Okay, so first one is the select a victim. Okay, so first what you have to do, you have to see and you have to select. For example, P1, P2, P3 are different process and the sum of the resources which is allocated to the different process. Okay, so selecting this resource. So for example, P1 is the one process, it is allocating all the resources like R1, R2, R3. Okay, so but still P0 or P2, it is not allocating any resources. Okay, so then what system has to do, it has to forcefully release the particular resource from the P1 and it has to allocate into the any another process. Okay, so that is selecting a victim. So you have to select in a correct manner. And second is the rollback. So that is what the rollback. So once you have to select by looking into that, so how many resources that is allocated to the particular process, and again if it is using the resources, so for example P0, it is using the resource R1, R2 so many of time, so then you have to forcefully remove that and you have to do the rollback. So what is that rollback? If all these resources it is taken by the remaining process which is present in the system, so once the completion of the task of all the remaining process, if it is completed, then only again it is move on to the rollback to the first process which is waiting. Next is the starvation. So what is the starvation? So waiting long amount of time, it is causes a starvation. Okay, so P0, let me take P0, it has taken the resource R1 and R2. Okay, so how many long? So let me take, it has taken 40 minutes of time. It is taken by the resources to complete the P0 task. Okay, so but P1, it is what it is doing. So it also requests R1 and R2. So both this P0 and P1, it is arrived at the second 11th minute. Let me take 11th minute. Okay, so P0 also arrived into the memory at the 11th minute and P1 also arrived at the memory at the 11th minute for the execution. So but R1 and R2, it is first allocated to the P0. So what the P1 has to do, so P1 has to wait for the 40 minutes of time. Okay, still its work has completed, so it is releasing the resources. So we have to do the preemption. By forcefully we have to remove all the resources from this system. Okay, so that particular technique we are going to call it is a starvation technique. Okay, so this is about the recovery from the deadlock. Okay, so here two different approaches we have used in the recovery from the deadlock. First is the process termination and second one is the resource preemption. Okay, so in the process termination we have seen the two different sub techniques. So that is abort or kill all the deadlock process, and second technique, so kill the one process only at a single time and again apply the deadlock detection algorithm, so and check for the cycle, so if there is a presence of any deadlock or not. Okay, so we have seen the disadvantage in both the techniques. And second approach is the resource preemption. Okay, so by forcefully we have to remove the resource and that resource has to be allocated to the any another process which is still waiting for a long amount of time. So there we are going to see the three different issues, that is selectivity, rollback and as well as the starvation. Okay, so this completes the recovery, that is the different methods for handling the deadlock.